Hi, Jimmy's mom.
Yeah.
You can do it really good, actually.
Yeah, you did a really good job of that.
Jimmy,
That's pretty good.
I don't feel so good.
All right. Welcome back to the Crossroads Conversations podcast. My name is Jack.
My name is Michael.
My name is Austin.
And this is our lovely guest,
Scott.
Scott. Yeah, we're back to it with our first guest podcast, which is very exciting.
Yeah.
And so,
And
very
we're in
nice.
a new
Very happy to be
location.
here.
yeah, new location.
New scenery.
Just for this one time.
We're doing some traveling for this one. We'll probably do more eventually.
Honestly,
But
okay,
it's
Hopefully
not
they don't
easy.
find your location. Maybe
Honest-
people.
Yeah, that
be able
one
to.
that one guy on the GeoGuessr guy is gonna-
Bro, that'd be great.
That
to
tree
be a
is from
geoguess where
Scott's
I'm at.
back. That tree is from Scott's backyard.
I know that one.
No,
That
but
rock.
Yeah, we have some ambient
man.
noise going around
So
too.
I think for whenever we have a guest, we should just go over to their house. I think that'd
Just
be kinda
invade
That'd be
their home.
scary.
No,
I'm sure we
like,
can find a good
whenever-
spot to stand
Whenever
and
we
stuff.
want a guest on our podcast, we just.
Well,
like,
I know
do it
your
right there.
studio isn't necessarily the largest studio right now.
We don't
I
talk about
mean,
break his-
if they were to have a little bit more funding,
No, but yeah.
you guys could help out getting them a larger space.
That's true. To help them buy a new house.
Should we buy?
No, have you guys seen
should
those?
buy a studio.
Those like
Just get them a
little.
studio, yeah.
Have you seen
Rent
those little
studio
tiny
space.
houses
Something like-
that are they're literally built like Lincoln logs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
like,
want one.
They cost like 10 grand.
I don't know
Not
the property
including
for
all
it,
of
but I
the
want one.
property and like
I would just
foundation.
buy a
Bro,
just
isn't there
for-
like an Elon Musk house that's like 50 grand or 40 grand, and
So-
it's like
something like
they
that.
come in
There's
with
an
it.
Amazon one that's like it's like folded up and you like unfold
Yeah,
it. and
that's
yeah.
kind of like what Elon Musk's is. Like comes in on one truck bed, and all of a sudden, it just like
crazy.
extends
Or-
out, and
Or what we do is we just get a like house trailer, not like like a regular trailer, but like a little like mobile home basically, and we just have it as a studio. That's it.
Let's put a down payment right now.
Yeah, you got the money for that?
Yeah.
Nope.
only you can help them.
Please donate.
Please donate.
And
PayPal
subscribe,
in the link below.
Yeah,
GoFundMe in the link below.
Venmo,
for the property.
Cash App, Apple Pay,
I take
PayPal.
tips and Red
We
Bull,
take
too.
Bitcoin.
Red Bull too.
Yeah.
We take Bitcoin.
Sponsorships are
Dogecoin.
fantastic.
Yeah, sponsor us. All right, since we have a new guest, we should probably do a little bit of. We all know you pretty well. If you can believe
How
it.
do you know me?
It's the darndest thing. We've known you since 7th grade, right?
Oh, wow.
Seventh,
Sixth grade.
for him.
Some a little bit longer.
Some of years.
Imagine not
Yeah.
knowing him for 8 years.
Public school math. Am I right?
Just over
Michael's
that, yeah.
like, how many?
Hmm.
I ran out of fingers.
7 to 8 years roughly.
Do I use my toes at this point?
Oh my!
So He's looking
man.
down.
He lost
I have my
3
shoes on. I
fingers
can't
while
count
at
any
work,
higher
so
than
he
that.
can only count up to 7.
Yeah, we've known you for a long time, but the podcast doesn't know you. So you want to
Yeah.
introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, Scott. I've helped out with the church quite a bit and have been part of the youth program that we have at our church. And I started out as a small group leader with these guys, and started out as 6th grade and kind of worked all the way up through senior year and walked them through graduation. And it was kind of cool to be part of that.
And he's still putting up with us.
Steal.
Yeah,
Still putting up with us.
still
It's insane.
in a smaller capacity, but
Yeah. Well, not as consistently, I guess.
yeah.
You know.
Seeing you guys once to 2 or 3 times a week was starting to get to be too much.
Mm.
Now it's like
I don't
once a
blame
month. I'm just kidding. I see you at least once a week still at church. So,
Yeah,
which is
but you
cool.
don't have to deal with us as much.
No.
He's not dadding
we're
us
our
as
own
much.
adults.
Oh, for sure. And then, we still text every once in a while. And
Yeah.
every once in a while I'll see, was it #grazed_ or whatever?
Not a
Yeah.
spot.
On his stream. Everyone
It's
watched the
not
stream.
sponsored?
Not
Yeah.
sponsored, but
I see him.
Might be sponsored.
Actually, I see all you guys hop on there. So once
do.
it hops on Twitch, I'll just kind of watch to see how you guys are doing. Just
Yeah.
listen in every once
Watch
in a
it.
while.
Watch our
Ex-
Roblox
except-
streams,
except-
guys.
Except Jack can even stream because
Dude, I tried to stream the other day on my computer. My computer was like trying to explode. I swear. I'm like, I can't do internet. very
Michael,
well, but-
you can start streaming if you get a computer.
No, I can stream on the Xbox.
Yeah, but if you got a
not very
decent
good, though.
computer,
It works.
if you get a decent computer, you can.
I have pretty good internet, so it's not like
Yeah.
it doesn't kill my Xbox to do it.
Yeah.
I just don't do it because
2 more months until you get it.
streaming. I don't really care.
Yeah. He's budgeting.
Yeah,
We gotta
imagine not budgeting your money.
Can't relate.
We gotta get Scott on again.
Oh, for budgeting?
COD. No, COD.
Oh, COD.
Well, you don't play COD.
Bro.
Whoa! I don't have COD downloaded right now. I looked at the Black Ops 6 download on Xbox.
No, don't
it's
do it.
256
No,
gigabytes.
No, don't do Black Ops.
Dang.
I I have moved away from that franchise, man. It's been so bad since they started
So bad.
flying in space. I was like, no, bro, you don't.
Yeah,
That's not
the
cool.
Omni movement is miserable.
Have you seen the Omni movement? And you can like dive left,
The
right,
only good addition was
backwards,
the body.
like dolphin dive backwards.
I mean, honestly, when it becomes
Oh, yeah,
unrealistic
that's funny.
in natural settings,
and
it's
it's like Rainbow Six. You can like peek around corners now, kind of.
well, peeking around corners is totally cool. Like,
I
I'm,
like
I'm
it.
all good with
I
that.
don't
I
hate
mean, yeah, I'm just saying.
But
don't
when you
think-
start
new.
running
I
on
think the-
walls and ceilings, you gotta stop.
Peeking around corners, it's never really given like that much of a competitive advantage. Like it's not like it's actually moving your avatar that much. It's not like only your head is showing when you peek around a corner. Usually it's like the whole like left side.
The
of
whole
your
left
body
side of
is
your
showing.
body.
It's never been like.
Why don't they get like a periscope?
busted.
You know,
Don't give them ideas, bro. They're actually gonna add that. It's gonna be so bad.
I really hope they're not listening to this.
Imagine getting
podcast.
360 no scope and someone using a periscope, bro. That'd be
that'd be
toxic.
hilarious. Anyway,
Well, this our podcast this
is
time
not about Call of Duty.
is not about Call of Duty, unfortunately.
Who
Maybe
brought
we'll
that up,
manage
guys?
that.
Who brought up
It's
Call of Duty?
not a very unfortunate
Probably
thing
me
to
when I was
talk
talking about watching you stream. So
I feel like we could talk about it for a long time and it would not be entertaining.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
So,
stuff we can
now-
talk about
now
that's not
that
entertaining.
we're moving on from Call of Duty, let's get on to our first question.
What's our first question, Michael?
What is your favorite dad joke?
So, like I said it earlier, you know,
You want to tell us?
fish was swimming,
Uh-huh.
and runs into.
It was streaming.
It was screaming.
He was screaming.
No, fish was swimming and all of a sudden hits a wall, and then
Damn.
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 I mean, that's one of my favorite ones. I just tell my kids because it's just hilarious. Because it's
My family
not
went-
cussing, but it is.
My family went to the Bonneville Dam a little bit ago. Yeah, that's a few years ago now, but the whole time we were just making dam jokes.
Oh yeah.
Damn.
Damn, that's a big damn.
The whole time. We were like, oh, it's the dam bathroom. I was like, oh, it's the dam parking lot. It was very funny.
See, those are the best
Damn
dumb
jokes. Oh.
damn jokes that
Damn
you can
jokes are
have.
the
Damn
best.
jokes are the best. But no, one of the other ones that I actually really like is when your wife is doing something, you know, really hard and she just doesn't do a very good job at it. And she's like, you know what? You just need to embrace those mistakes. But then you got to watch out because then she's going to come give you a hug.
So true. Yeah,
Dang.
my ex-wife misses me, but her aim's getting better.
Yeah.
I heard that first on Gravity Falls on Cartoon Network.
Really?
Yeah. It's in like the first like 3 episodes.
Damn.
Pretty
Oh,
lots of
man.
damn jokes. What's your favorite dad joke? Do you have a dad joke?
I have like a lot to choose from.
I feel like the dad jokes actually can be a lot of things. Because there's some dad jokes that are just like very like, ugh, that's such a bad punchline.
Oh,
Some
yeah.
of them are like just genuinely inappropriate.
There's
Like-
inappropriate
Yeah.
ones. There's
Yeah.
punny ones, and there's just really horrible
variety
ones,
out there.
right?
Yeah.
Like you know that you say too many dad jokes, or you truly are a dad when all of a sudden your kids start saying dad jokes, and then they look at you like
They're
for an
like, "What?"
approving glance, and you're just like,
Was that funny?
Was that a good
that was
one?
nowhere close to a dad joke, but
was that a
it
zinger?
was kind of funny.
Was that
I
he?
think one of the most well-known ones is what do you call ground beef?
A cow with no
Oh,
legs.
cow that's laying on the
Yeah.
ground. Yeah.
No, a cow with no legs.
Oh, cow with no, yeah.
Yeah, that's
He's grounded.
it's kind of a bad one.
Yeah.
I totally didn't learn that one from Teen Titans Go.
So it's not a dad joke.
Apparently, all of us just learn our dad jokes from cartoons.
Not your dad's. I'm gonna have to have a conversation with your father.
My dad and I, my older sister Megan and I, we make the like worst jokes. Our jokes are more on the inappropriate side.
Really?
We have a running bit about they let women do that. So we'll like be watching the Olympics. It's like a film like, dang, they let women do that now. My dad and I started saying it, or my sister, and she was like, "Ah, you can't say that.
That's so
And then she started saying it. We're like, okay, it's fine to say it now.
No, it's okay for her to say it.
Yeah,
It's not okay for you to say it.
I identify as a woman. Okay.
Are you?
I'm a
You're good now.
strong,
You're good
independent
now.
woman. I don't need no man. Okay.
You know who that sounds like? I'm not
Yeah,
gonna. I'm not
don't
gonna.
name
I'm not
drop
gonna
her
bring.
on
I'm
the
not gonna bring it
podcast.
up.
Austin, dad joke. let's hear it.
I think it's considered a dad joke is like when you're just driving and your dad just like, "Hey, is for horses." Have you guys heard that one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my dad does that. I'd say maybe not as much as he did, but he definitely
You
has
guys'
done it.
dads, when he was driving, ever just like start like going back and
Yes.
forth a bunch just to scare you.
Or what does a gay horse eat?
Let's hear it, Michael.
Hey.
I did the punchline. And I was like, I ain't gonna say it.
Why?
Who are gay guys walk into a
What?
bar?
I have a question.
I have a
Is-
fragile masculinity.
You're afraid of your
Are
masculinity?
you
Yeah.
an
No, I have a
insecure
fragile
straight
You
man.
have
male?
fragile masculinity, huh? So
Are you-
what makes it a fragile masculinity?
It's made of glass.
Oh, is it fractured?
Bars. That's a big word for me. If I was
Bars?
a public schooler. No, fractured.
I was so proud of him.
For a brief moment.
He learned pie charts and graphs and bars,
Bro.
bar charts.
Bars.
Had to help my little sister with her algebra homework the other day. And I felt so smart that I actually knew things, bro.
One
I was
plus
so
one.
bad.
I don't know if I
at
could do that. I went to public school. Sorry.
Dude, I thought I was
Dude,
I thought I was
algebra's
cooking, not
actually
gonna lie.
so easy.
I know, but I'm really bad at math.
Oh.
At least like
That's
higher
also
level
you.
maths I'm bad at.
Algebra is fine. Geometry.
Dude, geometry, algebra,
I don't like
trigonometry,
geometry.
those are all like easy.
Honestly,
I don't.
I like geometry more because I can see it.
Yeah,
And it's just a lot of memorizing formulas. So
pretty much.
I don't like that.
And then algebra is just memorizing.
I do not
formulas,
like that.
Just plugging in
public school
numbers.
moment. But I did not do running start.
What's a surfer's favorite subject?
What?
Algebra.
Just gonna sit with that one for a second.
Let it marinate.
Yeah, let it marinate.
Do you want me to do the dad joke thing where it's such a horrible dad joke? You got to explain it.
I don't get it. Explain
I don't get the joke, guys. Explain it to me.
Really?
No, I do. Yeah, I know.
Okay. I was like, really?
Austin's just such a convincing actor.
I'm so disappointed in your public schooling.
What?
We got a funny guy over
Is
here.
this a staring contest?
No, it's not.
Oh, you blinked. I won.
It was a straight face.
Oh, so, if we're doing a straight face competition,
Austin wins every time.
This is the most boring podcast I've ever been on.
shut up, Scott. Like we both break it.
No! What's
Oh my
happening to the
gosh.
webcam?
Wow.
What is
Look at that dude like freaking out.
What the
Oh my
You know what?
gosh.
It's because I'm on it. And
It can only capture 3 people at a time.
Hello.
there they are again. So this is the worst podcast I've been on. I've never had so many technical difficulties.
This is both
How many
the best
podcasts
and
have
worst
you been on?
podcast Scott's ever been on.
Yep.
This is the first one.
First and the last.
First and the
First
last.
and last
Now that
podcast
I know
I'll ever
what
be
all
on.
this goes into, I don't think I really want to do it again.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Can't
We're
believe
cooked.
I'm just kidding, you guys.
All right, guys, and that's the end of the podcast right there.
Should we move on to our second question, or
Want to talk about your masculinity and how
no, we're
fractured
not
it
there
was?
yet. We'll get there.
fractured.
We'll get there.
How?
Do you remember what the second question?
I
is,
do.
Michael? Austin does. Let's hear it, Austin.
What? Oh yeah.
Wait.
Oh, brother.
Oh, if you could give like a letter to your younger self,
To
Yeah.
your younger self, yeah.
You
what
can tell
would
something to your younger self.
or tell something.
What would you say?
Since you guys are so storied and aged, I would like to know what you guys would say.
Buy
to your younger
Bitcoin.
self. Bro, right? Like, seriously.
Honestly, if 5-year-old me should have been locked in buying Bitcoin. Honestly.
Why was he not
slacking.
working 9 to 5?
Like-
Yeah, I was not working at 9 to
Okay,
5. I was
at
on
five.
that grind.
Genuinely, like, if like not being serious on this, I tell my younger self to get some of the bigger Lego sets that are worth like thousands of dollars now, and then, like, sure, I want to have the money to get them. I just have to beg my mom to get them. But
I mean, honestly, getting Bitcoin in 2007 before it actually went live would have been a lot better. I was
Yeah, but
asked to
I'm
get
not
onto
gonna beg my
Bitcoin
mom to.
in 2008, and my buddy was mining it. He sold it
Did
when
you
it
do
hit 20, and he had 100 Bitcoin.
Bro.
20, he sold it. Not
20.
20,000, $20. And that was what is it, 60 something thousand now? So that was
It's
a $6.5 million
ridiculously
mistake.
expensive. Yeah.
So yeah, and like I asked my dad, I was like, "Hey, should I go into this Bitcoin stuff? You know, it's this, it's that, blah blah blah." Going through it, he's like, "Well, it's not backed by anything, so it's kind of unstable, and I don't think it's gonna really do so well." I'm like, "Well, American currency is not backed by anything anymore. It's
I was
backed by
like-
the faith of the United States."
true.
And, well, do we actually have that anymore? I don't know.
We got rid of the gold standard, and
Yeah,
it's been downhill since.
it's been downhill ever since, right? So, like,
That was bad.
thinking
Bad
back
choice.
at myself, I probably should have just done that. Thrown a few thousand into it, I would have
I mean,
millions now. But
it's one of those things where it's like, no one could have guessed Bitcoin would have been as big as it is.
Or invest in GameStop before the big boom. like,
I don't know. I
Is
think
that
Yeah,
illegal?
no. Okay.
This is not illegal
GameStop
what they
stocks weren't always terrible. They were bad, like during COVID, and then because of the Wall Street bets thing happened.
the kitty dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's when it went up
The
like
kitty
crazy.
dude.
Yeah,
We
I
need
can't
to watch-
remember his
we
name.
need
It's
to
like
watch
Have you
Helen.
seen the movie?
You
or
needed to
whatever?
invest when it was
Yeah,
low.
Yeah, that's good.
So-
Roaring
we
Kitty.
need to watch that.
We have not watched
Roaring
it.
Kitty.
Dumb Muddy.
I always
but we
want to
do
say
need to
Hello
watch it.
Kitty.
Looks like
Is,
a
I know that's completely
decent
wrong, but it's
movie.
Roaring Kitty.
Hello Kitty.
Yeah,
Have you
it's Roaring Kitty.
have you guys heard about like people go crazy about like how people have ruined Hello Kitty with the internet?
No.
Bro, they
Hello
ruined
Kitty-
everything with Hello Kitty in general. They put
Yeah.
they made a Hello Kitty Glock.
The Hello Kitty fandom is in an outrage right now.
Phantom.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Why?
Because like
No.
the internet trying to make Hello Kitty all like dark and edgy, and she's like,
How can you make Hello Kitty dark and edgy?
"Oh, they've done it." And now all the people are like, "Hello Kitty's not about guns. It's about being nice with your friends."
That's why
and
they have the
making
Hello Kitty
cake."
Glock.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to
That's
get
really
that for
funny.
my kid.
All right.
It's fire.
Just kidding, you can't.
So,
Back to the question.
back to the
Okay,
question.
so are we doing like a serious answer?
It's
Well,
like, whatever you
just-
want.
I mean,
Yeah.
for me, honestly, I went through a lot of crap when I was younger, just doing stupid stuff and kind of what was right in my eye, which is completely not biblical in any way, shape, or form. I mean, you read
It's
the
in
Bible,
Judges.
it's in Judges, yeah, it talks
But
about
not in a
it,
good way.
but it's not in a good way. And so, like, I always just, was of the world where it's like you got to get yours, you got to do that, you got to do this, whatever made you happy is what I tried to do, and for a while, and this is totally not right, but people would ask me if I went to church. I'm like, yeah, I go to Best Buy. Best Buy is my church. Every Sunday I went there and I would tithe, technically.
crazy.
Yeah, I would give money every Sunday to Best Buy, and I thought it was funny to make that joke, but
Yeah.
it's not, right? Like, you think about it now, it's like I was toying with my life. I was toying with my future and my eternity, right? And
Yeah.
so when I finally realized that doing stuff that made me happy and only me happy was just toxic, and it wasn't something that was good. So
Would you say that was toxic masculinity?
no, that wasn't even toxic masculinity. That was just toxicity
Just toxic in
in general. Yeah. I mean, I lifted weights and I did all the things that a man would do. But
That's toxic masculinity. Don't
Yeah.
do that.
don't do
I'm
that either.
kidding.
But it was just more or less trying to do what you want to do in the moment.
Mhm.
It's not going to put you in a good spot at any point in time. So it's temporary. So
It's good.
I would have told myself to stay away from that and actually follow God. But
Cool. Pause really quick.
Okay.
No way.
I want to try to see. There's something about this that I like.
Do 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 do
Wait.
do Dora.
I think it's
Do,
working.
do, do,
It's
do,
working.
do, do.
There we go. Okay. It's
Okay.
Shut up, Scott.
fine. Muted my. Dude. Michael, your time to go. The amount of Elmo like voices that we do at Chick-fil-A is insane.
Dude, no.
It's so bad.
No. Can you guys do
Kermit?
SpongeBob? Or whatever. Remember that camp, dude? That was so annoying. Bro, I about died.
Martin?
It was one who started it. Yeah, that was
a-
so bad.
yeah,
But
we
then,
did
like,
the-
all of you guys were doing it, and then the whole Putin thing, and
Oh
my gosh, man,
It was bad.
It got, bro.
Would not be me. It would not be me.
What's his name? Why can't I think of his name? He's from Jimmy Neutron. He's the-
Carl Weezer.
Yes, Carl Weezer. Can you
Dude.
do the
Hi, Jimmy's mom.
Yeah,
You can do it really good.
yeah, you did a really good job of that.
Jimmy,
pretty good.
I don't feel so good.
just starts screaming.
It's not bad actually.
Bro.
And
That's awesome,
and then you-
dude. Jimmy Neutron was a fantastic cartoon.
Are you gonna finish
What I would tell my
croissant?
younger self is to practice more of his impressions because they were zingers when you were a kid. Yeah. Apparently, impressions were the peak comedy back then.
Really?
You ever seen those like videos where it was like impressionists go on like Call of Duty and they like pretend to be Donald Trump or
Oh, really?
like Obama
Yeah.
playing Call of Duty? Iconic. I used to watch a lot of those. As a kid.
Now it's all just AI that does it.
And now it's just AI. It's so lame. There's no skill involved.
For
Austin,
real.
what would you tell your younger self?
I'm Batman.
Play more Call of Duty. Get better.
Yeah,
I'm
get better
Batman.
at a younger age. I would tell myself, my younger self, like elementary school, that change is not a bad thing, because I moved around. I moved around a lot, like in elementary school days, and I always thought it was a bad thing. But like, there's a lot of, I guess, good that came from it at the end. Because like I moved around a lot, but then now I moved here and been here for like a long time now, and it's been a good thing. So like, even though I was there, like I moved a lot, like it led me to here, I guess. So I would say that honestly.
Yeah.
Nice.
Change isn't a bad thing. Bills are worse.
So true.
What the Sigma?
Okay.
Don't say what the
Sigma.
Sigma. Like
That
we've
was
been
Peb.
answering.
Isn't that
What would you
touch
what would
pad?
you tell your
Yeah,
yourself?
it's totally touch
Yeah,
pad.
touch pad.
That was a touch
Touch
pad
pad.
moment.
That was a touch pad. moment.
You got this, I believe.
Yeah,
in.
give me a minute.
Yeah, let me cook.
Let me think about it.
He's
You-
cooking. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
What would I tell yourself? I would say to tell my younger self to be more me. I was very much a people pleaser when I first came to this church, and I was like very much kind of like playing the character that I felt like was most accepted.
Chameleon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to blend in and like do what felt like most acceptable from other people's perspective. Like not even like accepting like worldly way, but like in a I just want these people to be my friend. And I feel like if I be myself and that they don't like that, then I lost a chance to have a friend.
Bro.
It's like I could have all the friends if I just play the role that they want me to play, you know?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people where it wasn't that it was really bad that I was acting the way I was, but it just wasn't me. I wasn't being me around them. I wasn't being honest with people. And so I think a big thing that I would change if I could and go back and tell myself and just be like, just be you. Like
yeah.
you're going to find the friends who like the you that you are.
Yeah.
Like those are the people you actually are going to stick around with. It's not a quantity contest of how many friends you have. It's a quality contest, you know.
it's like, would you rather have 100 pennies or 4 quarters?
Yeah.
Because they might be worth the same, but each one is worth more.
Yeah.
Michael did math, and he did
Dude.
a great job.
He cooked on that.
He
That
did
was
a
crazy.
great
Oh,
job.
Good math.
Dude,
good math.
that was actually a good analogy, too. That was great.
Have you
Yeah.
heard that analogy?
I know, actually.
I've heard that analogy. Like,
I've heard that.
a lot. I don't know.
Something like that.
I feel like
I just-
everyone has like that one thing they've heard like a lot. And
Yeah,
it's
right.
like it stuck with you more than other people did.
Probably.
I probably heard it just went because
Yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, it's cool, and then
Bars.
it. But
Big
now
word.
that I hear it coming in this context, that's actually a really good
Oh,
spot.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'd say.
And then, what I would tell my younger self, kind of among the same lines of what you would say, but more of don't worry about what others think of you. Like don't worry about, what's this person gonna think if I go hang out with these people and vice versa. It's just don't worry about it. If they have questions, then you can answer and just it's not a big deal. And don't overthink a lot of different things, because what I like to do a lot is overthink a lot of things when it's really not that complicated, and just you have to see things for what they are and not for what they could be.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing to see what things could be, which it's an important thing to see that, but for the most part, it's not as complicated as you may think.
Yeah. Having a podcast outside definitely is not the best thing.
Not
Especially
No,
when
it's
it's by this
ambient
road
noise.
over there.
Yeah.
I also it doesn't. These mics don't actually pick up background noise
Oh,
as much as I think.
Does a
they
good
do.
job.
Yeah.
getting
Yeah,
rid
they're
of
pretty
ambient.
good.
That's
Yeah.
cool. But no,
Especially when the
that's-
mic's like
Bars.
this close.
True.
No, that's pretty good though.
Go-
I enjoyed.
I like that. It's good stuff. Yeah, I think humility is a big thing for a lot of people to learn, and even in the regard to like not caring about what other people think. One of the big things that helps that is not like being more confident. Even it's like just being humble and being like I've heard other people say it in different ways, but Pastor just said this morning that like know God, know yourself, know the difference. Like
No.
I think
Bars.
sometimes when you're trying to care so much about what other people think, you're kind of trying to play some kind of role where you're trying to like manipulate what people think.
Yeah,
You know?
and that also goes along to the things of what would you tell your younger self is lie, right?
Yeah.
Stop lying. What's the whole point of lying? Like,
Mm.
one, you're lying to your friends if you're trying to be someone who you're not.
Yeah.
And two, you lie about something that you did, something that's going to happen, things like that. You have to then pay attention to how many lies you told, and then remember that because you just told another lie, on top of that lie. And it's
Yeah.
like, how many lies are you gonna have to tell, and how many lies are you gonna have to keep
It's like
in order
trying
for you
to
to
play
like.
4D chess.
Yeah,
It's not.
right? It's
not-
hard.
It's very difficult.
Trying to keep up the act is much harder than just actually doing what you should be doing.
Right? Yeah.
Like-
you just do what you're supposed to do. You don't have to worry about it, and it's just be you.
There was a few. I remember, like, not like important lies, but there was one time when I was at church on a Wednesday, and Nick asked me if I'd seen the movie not Whiplash. It was Hot Rod with what's his name from
Such a good movie.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I said yes. I had never seen that movie. I just wanted to talk to Nick because I thought Nick was cool. And so for literally weeks, I played this thing where he was like making jokes from Hot Rod, and I would laugh about them just because he like assumed I was getting the bit.
Did you ever watch the movie?
I still haven't seen
You
it,
still-
but no, that's not even the
hey,
worst
Nick,
part.
Hey Nick,
Nick,
he
if you're
still
watching
hasn't
this,
seen
I
Hot
still haven't
Rod.
seen Hot Rod.
Ask
But
him to watch
that's
Hot
happened
Rod.
like a few weeks later. They're talking about Hot Rod again because Elias. I think Nick showed Elias. And they go, yeah, you've seen it, right? And I go, no, because I forgot that I told him I hadn't seen
Oh,
it. Or I had
bro.
seen it. And he goes, I could have sworn you said that. I was like, I don't remember that.
See, you had to
It's-
track the lies,
yeah,
and it's
it
something you
wasn't
slip
like,
up at
it
some
was
point
a
in time.
white lie in a
Yeah.
way. I wasn't trying to like intentionally be harmful about that, but it was like it was harder for me to just put up that mask and like play that game instead of
Yeah.
just like being honest in the first place.
Right, and it's just so much harder.
And it was over a movie.
How
It
many-
wasn't even that important.
How many extra calories was it? Where did you spend like trying to?
Putting in the brain
You need,
effort
you
to
yeah.
do
need-
that.
you need to use that analogy on Joshua, because he's like a fitness nut. You know?
Oh,
Burning calories.
Yeah, burning
by
calories.
lying.
Yeah,
How many more
Good.
calories would it? He could have just not had that many calories.
yeah.
It's true.
I just had
That's
a
a good
protein shake.
analogy.
No, he doesn't work out. He doesn't work out,
Yeah, it
guys.
does work.
Anything else you guys would say to your younger self, Austin?
I don't know.
No, nothing. Your younger self was perfect. So
No.
why not?
I have to write a book about all the stuff I'd have to tell
Oh,
my younger self.
actually, spend less time on, like, I remember when I was younger, I'd spend a lot of time on the tablet just watching YouTube and stuff.
I was a tablet kid.
It wasn't, okay,
iPad
look,
kid.
I wasn't like a
iPad.
complete iPad kid. Like, I still like to get outside and do stuff, but when, you know, 'cause, I don't know, if you just don't make that habit, because now it's kind of, it's a big thing for all of us, you know, scrolling and stuff.
yeah.
And
Yeah, I would tell myself not to download Instagram. I still remember the day I actually got Instagram. My sisters had like a swim practice, and I brought my iPod Touch to the pool, and like I was like scrolling on Instagram for the first time. I was like, "This is so cool."
Man.
Yeah, that was a start to a many years of addiction, and I don't even know how. I can't. I dread the day where I'm gonna get to heaven, and God's be like, "You want to know how many hours you spent on your phone?"
Dude, I would love to see that. That would be hilarious.
Yo,
it's
have
gonna be
you-
bad.
No,
I know
have
it's
you
gonna be
guys-
bad, but like,
you guys seen those videos where it's like POV you die and you just get to see your life stats, like it's like how fast you've driven, how many traffic violations you've done, how many hours you spent on your phone, how many
lives you've saved.
okay, I'd actually be interested in that. Like unintentionally life saved.
Unintentional life saves.
That would be crazy.
Or I mean, not even known, because like there's so many things that you've done, like the lives that you have potentially have touched that have gone through, and maybe you've saved lives that way as well. It's like, what is the fruit of your labor, right?
Right.
Sure.
So, but no, I'd like to see some of the stats that we'd have potentially.
I want to know how many miles I've swiped.
Bro,
My-
that's
Dude,
When you think about like
Dude.
if it's like a 1 inch every swipe, right? And how much we swipe, like how many miles do you think you've swiped?
I don't even want to know.
Someone
I'm
said
so
that one
glad I
time,
didn't get
was like,
social
whoa.
media till like recently.
well, if you think about it, like if you stack $1 billion, it goes around the world like 3 times.
Yeah,
So
But a
a
dollar's
dollar's
not
like
that thick.
super
Yeah.
tiny. So imagine how many billions of miles you've probably
it's insane.
traveled.
Okay, you know what would actually be interesting is how many steps have you taken in your whole life? Like, because you know, on your phone, you can look on your phone and see like
Yeah,
a genuine amount, because it's not going to be pinpoint accurate
right.
to see an exact number of how many steps you've actually taken from when you were born to, or I should say, first step to when you've died.
What you do
No.
is when you have kids, you put like a Apple Watch right when they're born.
Kids born,
Apple
slap
Watch.
There's a
a,
pedometer.
slap a Fitbit on him immediately.
Fitbit right when they're
You-
born.
You
On 'em.
embed some microchip inside of them, and it's just like a pedometer.
Everyone.
Uh-oh.
You implanting them? Are we tripping again?
Yeah, we're tripping a little bit. What were we talking about?
I was thinking about the life stats I would want to know.
The amount, like,
How many gallons of water drink?
I was about to say,
How
like,
many
pounds of food eaten or whatever.
Dude.
Jeez.
How many gallons of gas have you used?
I want to know how many people I've met. Like, people I like learn the names of versus how many I could actually remember.
Dude, that'd be kind of interesting. Like, how many phone numbers do you actually remember too?
I only remember my.
Yeah.
I haven't spoken to that person in years. I still
Yeah.
have their number. I could text them anytime.
Do you like remember?
No.
See, that's the thing. Is like back in the day when I grew up, like I had to know
Yeah.
my
Only-
house number and this. I still know house numbers of my friends when I was younger.
Yeah.
Like has nothing to do with them anymore. Not even their house number anymore.
Only
Like they've
numbers-
moved since.
Only numbers I know is my mom's, my dad's, and my own. Those are the only ones I have memorized.
Yeah.
I have
Wait,
my
hold
parents'
on.
number.
Do you guys have your social security?
No.
Yes.
You
Bro,
guys
don't say it. Don't say it right
Guys,
now.
I gotta memorize right now.
And,
1, 2, 3,
and
4,
my
5, 6,
account
7, 8.
number is my last name, my parents. I'm just kidding.
But like,
My mother's maiden name.
wait, you don't have your social.
I know the last 4.
You,
Nope.
You guys need
Which
to
is
know
crazy,
when you go to
because
college, you have to know it.
I've had to use it for so many things, like because I've been signing up for a new college and
Yeah.
like stuff, and they've been like my FAFSA and stuff too.
Yeah.
Everything keeps asking me for my social security number.
You know what's funny is when Social Security was first like established, it wasn't supposed to be an identification that they're going to utilize in any way, shape, or form like that. But yet, that's how they identify us now is by
Yeah.
our Social Security.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
It wasn't the social security. You know how older folks they try to file for social security and get money off of that. Wasn't that like not supposed to be a long-term thing of getting money?
No, I think it's supposed to be long term for it because that's essentially when pensions were starting to go away and things like that. But it's to help out those people who weren't able to work all
Right.
the time and all those things. But it is to help out with the failing pensions and
I love it when I get my paycheck and I'm like, dang. I didn't notice the part where the government worked
Who's-
a
who's
whole of my
FICA?
shifts. Yeah, I didn't notice that when they worked a whole 8 hours for me. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's nice of them to do that.
they took out 30% of my paycheck. What the heck?
awesome.
Can I just say that Oregon state taxes suck?
Yeah, that's
'Cause-
why I work in Washington.
Yeah.
That's people live in Oregon and work in Washington.
Bro,
Yeah.
that sucked for a while when I was doing that. And
the
then
transit must be terrible.
we started to work from home. This was pre-COVID too, but like I started to work from home. And then at the end of the year, I got back this monster tax return. I was like, "This is awesome!" And then they were like, "You got to come back into the office." I'm like, "No,
I got
I quit."
I get a certain like amount of tax return from my tuition from Clark, but my last term of tuition was after the tax season ended, so I had to pay like a big chunk of money for my tuition.
Yeah,
And I was like, man, this sucks. But when my tax return hits next year and I get all that money back, it's gonna feel really good.
yes, it's gonna feel great.
Like I'm like, what could I use that money on when I get it back? You know.
Well, the problem is though, if you think about it, you're giving the government money. You're loaning the government money to do whatever they want with your money.
And they don't even put
And they
interest
don't-
on it.
Yeah. And so then you're going to have to like take it back. They collect interest by having the money there in their bank.
Crazy. And
but
then we don't get interest back on our
our
money.
money.
with them.
So,
Oh, it's so
how do you
dumb.
want it? Do you want to have a big tax return at the end of the year or do you want to have your money
true.
during the year
Yeah.
and like have as minimal of a tax return, like something
Right.
that's close to zero as you possibly can.
Yeah,
get,
and
right?
because like I have friends who are getting into investing and stuff, and they're like telling me about this money that they're making, like at least theoretically making money off of.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I had that money right now, I would totally put that just into investing or
Right.
like do something with it to make money while it's sitting there instead of just sitting there until I get it back. So,
Yeah. It's almost like putting in gold bars or not gold bars, just things in your couch cushions or whatever or underneath your bed like they used to back in the day.
I'm gonna buy a fancy something in gold, like a
Okay,
statue or
honestly,
something.
Dude, gold is like the way to go. Gold and silver, but
Gold
the thing
is the way to go.
Yeah, it
Like,
is.
I remember.
I'm about to rob Michael.
Bro, I didn't know he had actual real gold on.
He's wearing it right now.
Yeah. So
3 against 1.
this
Bro.
was
We got
my.
this lately.
Let's split it.
This was my grandpa's for the longest. I got it this last Christmas, and his mom, or I think it was his mom, or maybe my grandma's mom. Anyways, one of my grandparents' parents got him this back in when my mom was mid-70s, I think. And this was like maybe $200, $400.
it's super cheap.
I don't know how much this thing's
Well,
worth now.
well, gold's like $2,400 an ounce, I think, like 1 ounce.
Crazy.
So
And this also has 7 little tiny diamonds in it. So it's not just.
yeah, let's get him.
Go checking for cops.
or something.
I'm coming home richer
There's all the
tonight.
random
Lock 'em up.
chickens in the back.
Yeah.
So true.
Just feed it to one of the chickens and then
Yeah.
then you'll get it later.
What I'm gonna tell younger me: invest in gold right now.
Yeah, right.
Somebody's gonna go up on it.
Honestly, yeah, I think like even anything I think any product to invest at any time, like any good product, would be gold, because it's not gonna lose value because it's a rare thing. Have you seen that one? I think it was on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast or whatever, but it was like the amount of gold that's actually in the world, and you could see like
No, I
a
didn't see it.
picture of how much is actually in the world. It's not that much.
No, it's not. I mean,
Which is
gold
kinda-
gold is a rare material, right? And that's why it's going up in value, because it's a rare material
Yeah.
and there's a finite amount of it here on this earth. But as we start to explore externally from the earth, like meteorites and say Mars or
Mhm.
That's
things
crazy.
like
by
that,
the way.
they'll be able to find different minerals.
Conceptually, that's
right?
insane.
Yeah,
I had a shower thought the day that kind of blew my mind.
a shower thought.
But it,
Sounds
like, you know,
so crazy.
it'll make sense when you hear it. Like, you know how like they say like in science class, all the water that's on Earth is
Mhm.
the exact same amount of water as it was when it was created, whatever.
Yeah,
Like all the water that we have in our system is the exact same.
yeah,
As it's always been the exact same amount. It
Always.
just depends on what
yeah,
what form it's in, basically.
yeah. If it's gas,
Yeah.
It's
liquid,
it's
Well, my-
it's tweaking
or
out
solid.
again.
Gosh dang it.
Tweak, got to blow on it. I mean, that's what we did back in
Yeah, it
the
works,
80s,
huh?
man.
See?
That fixed everything back in the 80s. It even fixed it in the 90s, 2000. I mean, that's
It's true.
fixed everything now.
I had a Game Boy cartridge that you could plug into my DS. I used
Yeah.
to do that all the
my
time.
gosh.
Oh, yeah.
Or
So,
even the.
Do you know where that came from?
Mm.
So the Nintendo NES, like the original Nintendo, you put in your cartridge and you have to push it down, right? So if you didn't do that, or if it didn't work, it wouldn't connect and wouldn't start.
Right.
So people blow on the cartridge because
They think there's
they
like
think
dust on
there's
it.
dust and stuff like that for the connections. The problem is Nintendo just put in like the crappiest components,
Mm.
something that's super cheap that worked,
Mm-hmm.
and so it didn't make a full connection, and so like it was just a crapshoot. And we were just thinking we were fixing things by doing that.
It was you just gaslight yourself into thinking that was working.
Yeah,
That's
it was
super funny,
hilarious.
actually.
And then so I recently just got our Nintendo back from when I was younger, and I tore it apart and actually ordered a better component and put it in
Mm.
there. And now I have to push it in really hard because it's so tight.
Yeah.
But it works every single time.
What kind of Nintendo?
It's the regular NES.
You have one?
Yeah,
Can we play it after this?
yeah. Like actually, probably in a box right now.
Sounds fire.
Dude, it's
That
great,
sounds really
man.
fun.
Like I had my kids playing it all the time. They'd play like regular.
Do you have the
Like,
Wii?
It broke. Like it
Wii is
recently
good.
broke.
I got a
But
Wii.
We're
gonna play-
We're gonna play Mario Kart Wii on,
Sports.
his Wii.
Oh, actually, you know
Wii
the
Sports.
new
Wii Sports
the
is
new
goated.
sports on the
Switch.
Switch is actually legit.
Really?
It's pretty cool.
Pretty
Yeah.
good.
Huh.
Let's
Good
play some Mario Kart.
Oh, I
There
didn't
you
finish
go.
my shower thought.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Shower,
So,
shower spot.
all the water on Earth is the same amount, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then Jesus came, and his body was made up of 80% water, or whatever. And then he took it with him, and he left. There's now a Jesus-sized hole in the amount of water left on the Earth, and he brought it with him back to heaven. We don't know where it is. There's officially water missing from our system since Jesus was here. There is less water on our planet since then because he took some with him.
Bro.
And I guess Elijah also took some,
That's-
went up on the fire chariot and stuff.
So that's why we're having all those issues with global warming and stuff.
That's why
and waters.
people don't have enough water
Yeah.
anymore. Yeah, he took it all with him.
So when Jesus comes back,
He brings it back with him.
Global
we're
warming.
actually
Complete
gonna
creation.
have we're gonna actually have what's that called? Floods and whatnot
Yeah,
in Florida and
it makes the idea like
so,
like when people say like describe them as like the living water and stuff. It's like everyone's like living water in a way.
yeah.
But it's the idea of like, wait, creation is like fundamentally missing parts of it since he left. Because like the same is true for like proteins in our body, and
Yeah.
like every piece of our body was made up of other parts of creation that were just like transformed to be made into what we are.
Yeah.
Right? Like throughout an insane portion of chemical processes that are all driven by God, our bodies were made and out of other parts of creation. And that body is now missing. So there's just parts of creation that are just not there anymore that we don't have.
So
Because the body is important to like the ascension to heaven. Like the physical body is important. That's why
Yeah.
Jesus is going to come back. But like he just took it with him. So there's like the world is incomplete now because it's missing parts of it because he took it with him. That blew my mind.
Bro, bars.
another shower thought is when you go to heaven, you're literally there for eternity. Like, I know, like, that's what we're all looking forward to, but also, like, imagine going to heaven right now without having, like, as yourself right now, without having you and your bodily desires separated, kind of thing, right? Or like you and the flesh not separated. That you're literally there forever, which is, I don't know why, but I'm like, holy crap, we're gonna be there forever.
Well, I mean, it's
but
unfathomable because
yeah.
we don't have our mind, like our
We
human
physically
minds
can't process it, yeah.
Yeah, process it. Yeah.
And but that I think that's one of my I wouldn't say doubts of going to heaven, but like of just almost a fear.
Well, it feels
But-
like a doubt or a fear because your brain can't comprehend it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you
yeah.
literally like don't even know what to do with that.
Yeah.
You know?
And then but I just remember that like you just have to remember that it's literally heaven. You're gonna be like it's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna be literally with God, and there's no better thing than that, which is like a very calming thing because it's like, okay, I don't need to worry about the eternity part.
Right.
Just,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be with him forever. And
What blows my mind is when I think about when people say like, "Oh, well, God's eternal." That means He spent an eternity without us, without creation.
Yeah.
Before you and after that eternity, He was like, "Yeah, no, this sucks. We need something new." Like, He didn't just like live for a little bit and then like we're like, "Ah, that's kind of boring." He literally spent an eternity without anyone, on His own.
What
In a
do you
way.
think about? No, this is not right. This is not correct in any way, shape, or form. But what do you think if God was just sitting there? He's like, you know what? I'm gonna make a board game, and we're his board game.
That's kind of what it is. It's like when atheists talk about like multiverse theory, and it's like, what if our whole universe is like some like alien species kids science project, and he's like not supposed to do it, but he like did it.
Right.
It's like when you think about how small the world is compared to that, just like
You ever see Men in Black?
yeah,
You know
At
the like the
end,
very
where
end, yeah. It's like a little tiny galaxy, and then like it's like the marble
it's
or
like a
whatever.
marble,
yeah.
like the dog's
and it
collar or
goes
whatever.
inside of it, and then it's like goes in deeper, and
Yeah.
then goes in deeper. I mean, if you just think about that, I mean, forget multiverse. Like that's not even
Yeah.
multiverse. That's just
Yeah.
like expanding out from where we're at. Like you
Yeah.
even look at an ant, you like move into what an ant sees and what an ant can do, and then like its world. Just think about it that way.
It's also bizarre because like we know that the world just keeps getting smaller.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've gone down to like such a microscopic level where it's like we're just gonna call these particles quarks because we don't really know what they do, but we just know they're there.
Yeah.
They like make up the electrons and protons.
Yeah.
We're like, well, what makes up those? Oh, we literally can't see that small.
Yeah.
Like the world just keeps getting smaller. We're just never gonna know what is that deep.
And bigger.
Also-
yeah.
and
in the same space.
Another thing is like first off, just how small our world is.
Yeah.
Like the whole universe, like it's almost it's uncomprehendable how big the universe is, and then God just holds it in His hand.
Yeah.
Like
It's also I always thought about like how when you look at how particles kind of interact with each other, it almost is like tiny little galaxies
yeah,
interact with each other.
Yeah.
And then you look at the galaxies and each star and planet is just like another
Interacting.
atoms.
Yeah.
Like each galaxy is an atom. The sun is the nucleus, and you have all the electrons around it, and they just interact and
Yeah.
they just make things and do stuff. And it's just like, if whether you look at it the tiniest way or the largest way, the universe still works the exact same way.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
Yeah.
it's almost like it
also-
was like meticulously crafted by someone.
Almost something like that. yeah.
I also
or
heard that
you know,
there's,
or maybe just it exploded out of nothing, and then here we are.
Surely it's all an accident. Yeah.
there is another theory, and this isn't a good theory at all. Is that like we are in God, right?
Mm.
Like That's why when God speaks, things happen because we are in God. We are not God, but we are in God. And so like we're kind of like inside his body in a weird way to think, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I don't
no,
know that way.
that's a theory. It's
Yeah.
not one I subscribe to in any way, shape, or form. It's not right. But it's kind of an interesting
weird
thing to
to
think about.
learn about other mythologies, ways that like the world came to be. Like Greek mythology is very interesting to me, and just like even them are like they're like, and then it just kind of came to be from like chaos, and then it just started existing,
Right?
and then from that spawned this and this and this. And it's like, but you still don't know what the nexus event that like started it all.
Well, the
was,
cool thing is, as we're getting more closer to in science and learning more, like, oh, there's the Big Bang Theory, you know.
That was
well,
just proved not
you know,
that long ago.
The funny thing is, though, is God created. That would be the Big Bang event, right? Because the Big Bang doesn't work if there's nothing. You
Yeah.
can't create something out of nothing, right?
Right.
So there has to be something. And I mean, physics even tells us for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, right? That's a Newton's law, right?
Right.
And so with that, you have God is that thing that is creating something. So with that, God could have created that Big Bang
Yeah.
in a sense, right? So the way that was said before, no, there's no way you can't create something out of nothing. That's just impossible.
Yeah.
But having something, right, create, and that would be God.
Right.
Yeah.
So
It's also interesting to think about how big the universe is, but then like that everything still already has a way it's gonna work out anyways.
oh yeah, totally.
Like all of the
Natural
You think about
design.
how many ways the world could go, but you still know there's already only one set way.
Yeah.
And it's like that kind of scares a lot of people when they're like new to Christianity, is like thinking that everything is planned out for them. They don't like that.
Calvinistic or Arminian, depending
Yeah.
on which way you go, or Calvinian
Yeah.
if you're middle set.
I always kind of think of like people talk about like, oh, what if I mess up God's plan for my life? I'm like, bro, you're not that strong, bro. You're not that guy.
Don't think that you can change
not that
something
guy,
that
no.
God doesn't
Right.
already know, right?
Like
So-
when you're gonna make a choice, God already knows what choice you're gonna make.
Yeah.
That was already in the plan, and whatever happens because of it, whether it's good or bad for you, is gonna change you in a way
Yeah.
that makes you continue to keep going on His plan already.
Yeah.
Like you can't screw it up, so don't concern yourself so much about making the right or wrong choice.
Right. And that's why seeing especially kids your age or even younger have that much anxiety about all the stuff that's happening in the world just kind of it kills me because I'm like, bro, it's
Yeah.
so much bigger than this.
If I understood that when I was younger, that would have been much nicer for me.
Right.
Like there's tons of things where I struggle with a lot of anxiety, and I was like, man, if I just realized that if I just take a deep breath and chill out, everything would be fine.
Yeah.
And it was. It's like, it's not like all those things where I thought I would make a right or wrong choice. If there was a wrong choice, I definitely would have picked one eventually.
Oh, and 100% we've all made wrong choices.
But life
Like,
still went on.
The
and it
life
was
still went on.
fine.
I'm here, and
Yeah.
you know, like I've made way too many wrong choices in my life, and I
Yeah.
can guarantee that. But it's those good choices that you've made, or the things that you've learned from those wrong choices,
Right.
to make those better choices later on. So
It's all those. That is God's plan. Like when bad things happen, it's so that you make the right choice next time. you
yeah,
know?
and God even says you are on this earth to suffer, and
Yeah.
there will be suffering in here, but that suffering isn't a bad thing.
Right. What's your thoughts on that, Austin? Are we going too big? Dead air over here.
I concur.
He's like, yeah, totally, bro. That's heat. That's heat.
As we just stare at him.
You're on the spot now. Wait to hear something.
I don't know.
Good answer. Good answer. So, should we move on to our final question?
Yeah.
How long is this podcast?
Yeah, like an hour.
Yeah.
I think we're at like 6 now, aren't we?
No. We were talking for like 20 minutes before. We're at 1:15 in recording, so
Cool. We'll just make this last question really
yeah,
quick,
last question.
even though it's the deepest one.
We can talk for as long as we need.
I
Our
know.
last podcast went a lot longer than we expected it to because it got deep. That wasn't my fault though. I started asking you guys like a billion.
Well, we
questions.
kept repeating basically the same thing
Yeah.
of what we were saying.
I was
Yeah.
just asking y'all random
You're just saying
hypotheticals to
why,
mess with
why,
you.
why. That's
I just kept
Which is
saying,
what you
"Well,
need to
why?
do.
Well,
yeah.
You have to ask the questions. Like,
Yeah.
if you don't ask why 6 times, you're never going to really figure out what the root cause is or the reason why. You know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, and we could all
Yeah, okay.
just like give an answer and just be like, okay, that's done. Call it a day.
Yeah.
But that's not good conversation.
I'd be like a
you know?
kid, bro.
Why?
Why? Like a little kid. Why?
Yeah. Be childlike. you know.
Curious
That's how
George
you
over
learn
here.
things.
No, that's what Christ says. Be like a kid.
Curious like a child.
Yeah.
Don't
Be curious, not judgmental.
Yeah.
It's from Ted Lasso.
Dude, such a good
show.
show.
Watch Ted Lasso. All right. The final question is, what is the difference between toxic masculinity and healthy biblical masculinity? I put toxic masculinity in parentheses because there's some debate about what it means to have toxic masculinity. You know, it varies from person to person what they might think what that means, but I don't. It's not really anything.
I think
to be it doesn't really exist as like a set rule of like being toxic, but
I think today Andrew really touched on a very key part of toxic masculinity nowadays, and it's about the stoicism. It's like being able to take everything without budging, basically, and just being emotionless. Don't have emotion. That's toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
The Bible says to endure and have patience, and I think it was mainly endure and do that with joy. And it's a difficult thing to do, but that's what the Bible calls us to do. And that's biblical masculinity, is enduring with joy. But
yeah, stoicism is like I'm not trying to like name drop anything, but I do have a friend who's a newer Christian, and he's very interested by the idea of stoicism, and he kind of like likes the idea of both of them, but the actual stoic mindset, at the bare minimum of it, or like what if you had to sum it down to like its deepest parts, or like the core mantras of it, basically, is very not biblical as far as how we are meant to act or treat ourselves, almost. Like, it's not a healthy way to treat yourself if you are constantly shutting down your own emotions and like not being an emotional person.
yeah.
A lot of talk about like men can't cry. Like that's definitely a big thing that happens in toxic masculinity.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, I cry all the time. You ask my wife, man.
If you don't cry,
Yeah.
you're a loser.
You got you're heartless and you have no soul.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, there's people who it takes a lot for some guys to cry, but for me, it's not. Like, I threw away that, like, I don't know, stereotype a long time ago that men are not supposed to cry. That type of stuff. I mean, that's the biggest thing is toxic masculinity has to do with a lot of stereotypes that are out there.
Yeah.
You've got to be super strong. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to be.
Those
I
are
don't know,
good.
it's like-
It's good to be
Yeah, you
strong.
can do those things. That's cool. Yeah, but like
That's
what
not-
God
yeah.
what God tells us to do, like I brought it up here just so I don't screw up because I don't have it memorized.
Valid.
But 1 Timothy 6:11 is like, but as for you, O man of God, flee these things. Pursue righteousness, godliness, faith, love, steadfastness, and gentleness. Like that's literally what we're called to do. We're supposed to love God, love others. Those two things hit every single one of those.
Touching back on the love God, love others. When you were texting us about the golden rule,
Oh yeah.
treat others how you want to be treated and stuff. I found it interesting because usually what a lot of people take that as is treat others how you've been treated,
Right.
and I think that was the big distinction that I'm not sure. I didn't really read the text, but I think that was the main distinction that you may have been trying.
Well,
to make.
no, it wasn't
Or
even
was
just
it-
that. It's more or less if you go by the golden rule, it's treat others as you want to be treated.
Right.
That's putting it upon you.
Got
That's
it.
not putting it upon what God wants you to do.
Right.
So it's treat others as God has treated you. So that takes it away from giving you the opinion and you the ability to decide on how it should be.
And
You should just treat
yeah,
others.
and it gives credit to the Lord.
Yeah, and so you should just treat others with love and dignity and respect, because I mean every person on this earth is created in God's image.
Yeah.
And they all deserve dignity and respect. I mean that's what it boils down to, and so you just want to give them that love, right? So
Thoughts? What's your definition of toxic masculinity?
I mean, I feel like it's. I'm trying to think, honestly. I mean, I think a lot of the, I guess, I mean, maybe not standards. I guess people, kind of stuff you were saying about like men should be crying and whatnot. Like, I mean, I feel like, especially, I don't even know what I'm saying right now. But like growing up, I feel like I didn't deal with that much because I was always told it's okay to cry
yeah.
for things. But I feel like it's even a lot of things now where it's like, oh, girls are not gonna like you if you're gonna start crying over something. It's like, I don't know. I think that's a very big like kind of a standard for.
Or you throw a ball like a girl, type of
Yeah.
deal. Yeah.
Where it's
and
like,
that's not.
if
and
you
that's
do
not
it,
cool.
you're gonna be seen as a certain way. If you do all these things.
Yeah.
If anything, I think nowadays it's more recognized when a man does cry, because the world doesn't really see men cry too much because they're taught not to.
Mhm.
But when
Yeah.
a man does cry, like there's something up. Like it's not to discredit females in any way, but females, they do cry a lot more than men do. I think
They're more nurturing.
Yes,
is
more
the thing.
yes.
But that doesn't mean that you can't be that type of person.
no.
Now the thing is with relationships, right? They're on a spectrum.
Yeah.
Like there's a male and the female, right? And there's love and respect, and you can have different, like, the person in a relationship could demand respect while the other person demands love. It doesn't have to be the girl has to be the one that demands love, and the guy's the one that has to demand respect. It has a veritable spectrum on how we can be. I mean, if God created us to be the exact same for every single person, that's going to be like a robotic thing that nobody wants to have, right?
Yeah.
So God didn't want to have robots. He created people with a lot of different views, opinions, the way that they feel. Like he did that because having a cornucopia of people is so much more enjoyable to be around. So,
Yeah. It's what people talk about, like, oh, but girls cry more than guys do. That's true, but the key is that true, really healthy masculinity is not someone who is only ever tough or is only ever tender, but knows when to be what,
Yeah.
and is what they need to be when they need
Yeah,
to
for
be.
sure.
Like, I've heard people talk about, like, oh, men can't cry, and then they'll be like, are you saying that Aragorn from Lord of the Rings isn't a man? Because he's like such a good example of like a healthy man, like
Yeah.
healthy masculinity, a good like role model for a lot of people who were growing up, like, and I think like when I really think on his character, like the things that he shows, he's tender when he needs to be.
Yeah.
He's soft and he's emotional with his love, and he's a careful, kind person, but he's also strong and physically capable of defending himself and like fighting for others.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about if you can be one or the other. It's when you know when to be what. Like that's real wisdom. Is like,
Yeah.
is now the time to be tough and to like be able to like strengthen this and like kind of hold this out, or is now the time to kind of let myself feel those emotions and like let them out in a proper and responsible way,
Yeah.
and like for the sake of like being there for your family, like you need to be both for your family, but you can't just be one or the other all the time.
Well, remember when we kind of touched on this stuff at small group one of our last sessions? We were talking about like, oh, the man should be the one making money. No, the man does not have to be the one that's making the most money, right?
Yeah.
If the
I wouldn't
woman
mind
ends
a
up
sugar
making the
mama.
most money, sweet, support that. What the man's job is to lead in faith, right? Lead the family to the faith, lead the family to the church and all that stuff. And, if you have to take a step back as the man to allow the woman of the household to make the money, that's totally fine. Like, you'll get yours at some point in time. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Like, take your pride out of it. Like, that's one of the biggest things. If you're hurt feelings because your wife's making more money, that's pride, man. You can't be in that. You can't live in that type of sin.
Yeah.
So it's just going to make your relationship falter.
Yeah.
And you just have to do what you're supposed to do, and you can lead your kids at that point in time. If she's making the most money, cool. Lean into the Lord and show the riches that you can get from that.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah, I think for men and women, they have to kind of learn the thing that the other gender's already good at.
yeah.
Like, men are naturally good at being tough, but they need to learn how to be emotional.
Yeah.
Like women more naturally are. but women are more naturally emotional and they need to learn how to be tough in a way, you know, not like a feminism way where it's like you have to be a strong, independent woman, but like
We got a
you-
class for that. It's 101. I'm just kidding.
yeah, there's lots of material out there for you if you do believe that. Feel free to read up, but like they have to understand like when it is time to be tough and like
Yeah.
because I always see like these videos of like the kid like lashes out at the mom and the dad walks in and the kid's like, nope, I'm locking in now.
Yeah.
It's like I'm gonna do with it. I'm gonna do what mom told me now. Like, but that's like part of becoming like a good mother is like knowing when to like smack your kid's hand out of the way because he's about to touch the stovetop, you know.
Yeah.
Or like a guy wouldn't have a hard time doing that, but when the kid burns himself, a guy might have a hard time like, you know,
Caring for
caring for that child, meeting them heart to heart when they're
Yeah.
you know struggling.
So I'm not on social media, right? But there's this meme that I would see, or like I'm on Reddit every once in a while, right? That might be a social media. So, but I go on there and I was seeing this video when these kids are disrespecting their mom, and it's like a joke. Like they all know what's happening, but the kid says something that's disrespectful to the mom, and the dad's just sitting there going,
The dad's like,
and all of a sudden he
stands
just like, gets up, and he's like,
Oh my god!
It's a joke, it's a joke.
Isn't the kid like in his 20s or something?
there's a
and-
whole bunch of them that
It was
do
like
that.
it was a trend for a while to do that.
Yeah.
Oh.
I know that one video you're talking about that I saw.
And-
He's like, it's a joke, Dad, I swear.
And like he just gets up and he just it looks like Kratos.
Yeah.
And he just gets up and he's just like,
Yeah.
and he doesn't even say a word. And
Right.
and then he just gets back. He sits back down.
But a lot of the guys are just sitting there, just everything's happy and everything.
Yeah.
All of a sudden they just stop and they go, "Did I seriously hear what I just heard?"
Yeah.
And then there's like a pause, and then he gets into action. Is like,
Right.
boom, here you go.
Yeah.
my job.
That's a really important part of masculine, in my opinion. Like to be a really good husband and steward to your children is
your
like, yeah, you disrespect your mom, but also you just disrespected my wife.
Yeah,
No one gets to talk to my wife that way.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
even my own kids are not allowed to disrespect my wife. And like it's a hard love, but it's that kind of love that earns people the respect and like learns how to treat other people with respect. You start with your parents. Like that's why the Bible calls us to respect our parents. It's not just because we should respect them, because they put in a lot of work to make us exist and feed us and nurture us.
Yeah.
But also they're the first people we get to show respect to. We have to learn how to share that respect to everyone. You have to
Yeah.
start with those, you know. Every
Do
10
you
minutes we're
show
going to pause
respect?
and just stare at us until he says
Do
something.
you show respect to your parents?
Yes.
Yes.
Good job. Thanks for the deep conversation, Austin.
I'm sorry. Wait.
What would be like a good sign of like healthy masculinity to you? Like if you had to like analyze your own life and like say like this is a good place where I'm like, I would say I'm like I have healthy masculinity.
Honestly.
We can pause for our sponsor.
No, you guys keep. I'm trying. I'm thinking about literally something complete. Like it's on the same. Not of that. I'm just thinking of something you said, and I'm trying to. I don't even know.
What
was it I
did we
said
say? Yeah.
No, I don't. That's what I'm trying to think. Wait. I don't know. I honestly.
What was it that I said that like
Did he fall asleep?
No.
He's locking in. Should have gotten the monster.
Yeah. Do you want me to get you a monster?
No.
Bro's cooked.
On.
Are we
Is it
tweaking?
lagging?
Wait,
Oh,
it-
man.
Yeah, we're tweaking. Oh.
Oh,
I think-
hey, it's fine.
We're talking about the computer, not us physically tweaking.
We
so,
are.
yeah.
Just start.
Don't look at me.
Too much
I
pressure.
think that's
Too
the
much
fun
pressure.
part. It's a staring contest. Let's see.
Everyone looking.
Oh,
at
see, now that sun's like
Yeah, I
in the
know.
wrong area too. Now the video is all
Hallelujah.
sorts of messed up.
Yeah, it's fine.
You should both.
This podcast can be a little bit janky, but it's our first one of the guests, so
I
we're
c-
still figuring it out.
I could probably remove the cover and make sure that we have some light on it, but then it might be over bright.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
gonna be a lot
I
of
can
cutting
put
of this section.
filters on the video later to fix it up. So he's
Are you gonna,
really
like-
deep in thought over
I-
there, man.
I know, bro,
really
like-
want to know what's going on in
No,
that head.
I
It was
probably need
okay.
to go get him something.
Okay, what I'm trying to say is like, or because you were saying about how like respecting your parents and whatnot, and I don't know exactly how I'm wording this right now, but like, I feel oh my gosh, how do I say this? The way you respect your parents and then how your parents act upon like how you're doing it can kind of shape a person throughout their whole life. I don't know how like I guess like between respect and discipline, like because you were saying respect and then like how like
Well,
how a
respect
father
goes-
and a mother can act upon that. It's like I feel like it very can shape how the person ends up.
Yeah,
I don't know exactly how to say this.
Respect goes both ways, right? So
Yeah.
however you respect them is also how they're going to like treat you, and then the same respect that they give you, right? So it even comes back to like even with marriages, you have that love and respect that I was talking about earlier, right? Well, it depends on what kind of a person you are. Do you demand that respect or do you demand that love? And so when you're talking to your parents, are you expecting love or are you expecting respect from them? Because whatever that response is from them to you is how like it shapes your future as well.
Yeah.
And it also teaches you how to interact with others outside of even just your family circle, right?
I don't even know. I mean, I don't even know what I'm saying right now. Like I know what I'm saying, but I don't know what I'm saying.
Are you sure?
I don't know.
Hey, sometimes I just start talking and I just like forget where I'm going.
Do we need
And
to take a break?
someone's like, "Wow, that was really, really impactful." And I was
Because I
like,
hear you guys talking.
The Lord guided what I
hear
said.
you guys
okay?
talking. I'm like, okay, I have stuff to say, but then I'm like, and then you guys just stare at me. I'm like, okay, I don't know what to say now.
I forgot what you were gonna say.
So should we just not stare at you or
Don't
talk to you
know.
at all, or like?
What you do is you just have to literally just interrupt, kind
Just
of.
cut
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I know, but I don't want to.
It's like the Bluey episode.
That's why we
where they,
paused
like,
to, like,
put
give
the
you the
hand
time to say
on the
it.
person,
I
and we'll
know,
just
I
shut
know.
up. And
I don't know. I
Just
just
like
don't.
I just like
Maybe I just
staring
don't.
at
I don't
it's
know.
hilarious.
I just don't have a lot to say of this. I don't even know. I don't know. Honestly,
You don't
I just don't know.
you know, we respect what you have to say.
I respect that.
I don't know.
I think your mic's muted.
No, it's not.
Dang it.
Mine could be the whole time. Oh, is that what this means? No, I'm just kidding.
That's why we have the
Oh.
bars on it, so we
Oh.
can check. I'm always like double checking.
Oh, so
on
those are the bars you're talking about when you say
Yeah.
bars.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
bars.
Bars.
Trying
Should
to
we-
think of.
Should we take this on the road so we can like follow the chickens around?
Yeah, that'd be fun.
That'd be funny.
What do you have to say about this? I'm trying to think of because we talked about fragile masculinity earlier about that gay joke,
and
you know?
your fractured
my fractured glass masculinity.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's a weird level of like what society has to say about men that is like not entirely wrong, but they just do it in the wrong way. Where like there is a level because like what I'm talking about, like men are naturally like tough and like stoic, but they need to learn how to be emotional. Like, but that's some people could phrase it as like touching into your feminine side, right?
Mm.
Like they're not wrong that men do need to learn how to be more feminine, and women need to learn how to be a little bit more masculine. But it's not in like the way that they're actually doing it, you know?
Yeah.
So it's basically just how they're saying, like, how they're saying it is making it sound wrong.
But yeah, the way they're saying it is leading them to do it in the wrong way. Even though what they're saying isn't necessarily wrong, it's like a partially correct answer, you know?
The greatest lies have a little bit of truth in them.
Right.
That's what makes.
I feel like that leads to I don't know if I can say this, but
We can bleep you out like we did.
Say
I
what
was
you
gonna
got.
say, like, saying what you were saying, how like what were you saying, the feminine, something about the feminine side. What were you saying?
you need to, like,
what was the
get in
phrase you
touch with your
said?
feminine
Get in
side.
touch. I feel like that can kind of leads to the transgender kind of stuff,
Right.
where it's like, oh, it's or not, it's okay, but like you need to or touch or get in touch with your feminine side or whatever you're saying, and then it's like it's okay to be just that
Yeah.
instead of having both.
I think that's
In
really
it.
the problem where it shows up is that society expects that men can only be tough and women can only be nurturing.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and so there's a lot of people who are out there, a lot of kids that
Yeah.
especially we'll talk about the males that are out there. If they're not watching football or they're not into sports or they're not, I don't know, building things out in the backyard or, all those things that a man's supposed to do, lifting weights, things like
Well,
that.
yeah, I was gonna say because you have said it was like not all men are oh, be strong about everything, Some are more like
Yeah.
feminine, like originally. So it's like, but then I guess the world kind of just says it's okay to be just that's fine, or like you must be different, I guess. So you have to do this.
Well, and that's the thing is they're trying to say it's either this or this, it's like, well, you can go ahead and transition into whatever gender you want to be. It's like, nah, bro, you can have different thoughts. And you can like to sew, and you can like to knit or whatever it is as a male, and that's okay. Like, that's totally fine. It's the sexual sin that comes across when you start going the other way with your actual sexuality, right?
Yeah,
and that sexual sin is just as bad as any other sexual sin, like even watching porn or, I mean, anything like lust. Those are all the same type of sins. It's just, that's their sin.
It's those
So,
tiny
be very
whispers that
careful.
say, like, when you're a young kid and it's like, oh, I like to do this thing. But then the world is saying, oh, women like to do that thing.
Right. Like
And then
playing
you're
with
like,
Barbies or whatever.
Is that
Yeah.
a women thing? Am I supposed to be a woman? Like, that's
Yeah.
the tiny whispers they're trying to, like, whisper into kids these days. It's like,
Yeah.
well, if you're doing this thing, this is what women do, which means you must be a woman. That's
Right.
like, whoa, that's not.
Yeah.
If
What?
he wants
It's
to
like
wear a
that should
dress,
be
let
done.
him wear a dress. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
no.
There's lines that you shouldn't
You
cross.
like
But
getting your nails painted? That's
I got my nails painted one time, and I'm not a woman.
I
Same.
get my nails painted every once in a while. My kids actually don't watch this, children, because I'm talking about
Adult.
Santa
Adult
Claus.
things.
No, Santa Claus and Elf on the Shelf. The Elf on the Shelf for our kids painted my toenails because
That's
it was
really
funny.
funny.
Like while I was
That's pretty
sleeping.
It's actually, I'm gonna have to get my dad to do that.
Dude, bro, it was
That'd be
ridiculous.
really
Like,
funny.
and my daughter was just like, I love it when Tinkerbell paints your toes. I'm like, I
Is that
hate
wait, is
it
that the
when-
elf's name?
Yeah, Tinkerbell. Yeah,
That's
it's,
so
it's
funny.
hilarious. But and then like my kids, they love it. They just have a great time. But because it's something Dad doesn't want to have
Speaking of
happen,
Santa.
right? And
Yeah.
so it's
Speaking-
more funny for that.
Mm.
But
Speaking of Santa, like I love the idea of Santa and all that stuff, but I saw this video about it. It's like it's lying to your kids,
It
kind
is.
of
It's
through
seriously
your
lying,
whole.
yeah.
And they're like, what else were you lying to me? Especially if you're like
Yep.
a Christian and you're like, so I grew up a Christian. I grew up believing in Santa until however old you were. It's like you guys were lying about Santa. Were you also lying about this Christianity, this relationship, and all that stuff? It's like,
Yeah.
what else?
what we did is instead of saying Santa Claus isn't real, because Santa Claus is real, right?
The idea is- that's the thing.
Yeah.
Helping others is still there. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's what it is all about. It's not about how many presents you get.
Yeah.
It's about helping others,
Giving.
and,
Yeah.
being a selfless servant. And
Mm-hmm.
that's part of being a male, is having that selfless servant heart. And that's kind of what Santa Claus does, and that's what it is. And so we had to explain that to our kids, to one of our kids. Our other one still believes in it right now at this point in time. Maybe if you watch the
So do I.
podcast, never again.
I believe in Santa.
But I do too.
Who else? Who eats?
Santa's not real?
Guys, who eats the cookies?
What?
Who eats the cookies?
I do.
How's the
You eat
presents
my
get there?
cookie?
I,
How's the presents get there, bro?
no, but no, like that. Oh, my mic's not.
Oh, it's the button I think you might have
I
pressed.
must have pressed it.
Oh. Hopefully
That whole
not
thing
good catch.
didn't.
I hope
Oh.
not.
Yeah, that whole thing probably just did not get caught, so it's all good.
Don't worry. Now your
Alright.
kids won't be spoiled by Santa.
my kids won't be
Claus
spoiled.
isn't real.
Yeah,
Santa
so
Claus
there it
himself
is.
is not real.
I think-
that's the point.
Yeah,
I think with my kids, I probably will teach them not that like, oh, Santa's real, but like teach them about who Saint Nick was,
right, and
because it
that's-
was an actual person
Yeah.
who actually
Yeah.
did really good things
Yeah.
as a Christian. Like, there's a good story that you can tell your kids about those things.
And,
You know,
and so
Mhm.
what I ended up doing, my wife and I together, talked to our daughter and was like, "Hey, do you want to be part of that process?"
Mm.
So my son would go to bed, and my daughter will come back out, and she'll help us get the stuffs prepped and get all that stuff for him.
That's really
and it's
cool.
really kind of fun for her.
I like that.
Mm.
That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Cool.
So we're giving her that servant heart
Yeah.
at that point in time.
That's a good way to, I mean, I guess go about it.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, when I was younger, like I never really. Hold on, I have a question for you guys. Did you guys ever think that Santa was actually real?
I mean, definitely was a point where I probably did.
Yeah, but it was like before I could like consciously like think about it. You know, like before I was like old enough to be like, wait a minute, that's kind of weird. You know,
Yeah.
like once I got to the age where I could remember things was probably the age where I started to realize.
I don't even know
this
the
is
age
not
I
really real.
like. I don't even know the age I stopped. I haven't. I don't. There was never an age.
For me, it was when I saw the wrapping paper was the exact same wrapping paper as what my parents used.
Dang,
It's
they
like-
didn't use
I was
a
like,
different one.
bro, you just like
Sherlock over here, he cracked
completely.
it. You cracked the case. That's crazy.
Yeah, well, we kind of screwed
long
up because
have you
my
been Santa Claus?
my daughter, she started asking us the
No,
question
I
because
never-
the name tag I think
never
was,
would.
or the writing was the exact same.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, bro.
parents-
She like
That's like a
My
detective.
parents made Santa Claus like a kind of like how the Easter Bunny and like the Tooth Fairy put it all in the same category of like it's not real. It's fun to like
Tooth Fairy's real.
act like it's real.
It's the
'cause
Rock.
As a kid, I could tell.
Yeah.
As a kid, and same with my sisters, we knew that like it was never like Santa Claus wasn't real, but it was just fun to. It was like a pretend thing. Like it was a fun thing to pretend about, and that's how it was portrayed. And the message of Santa Claus of giving to others that was still very much that very much rang true. But I never had the thought of like, wait, the North Pole. He doesn't have a Santa gift shop at the North Pole.
We're not riding the Polar Express? Dang it.
bro.
Okay,
The
that's
one
a-
here is horrible. I've rented it a couple times. I'm like, this is not the Polar Express.
That's kind of how my family has done it too in the past, where like it's almost like a parable, like kind of like you're teaching kids about a holiday through a story. Not like we're trying to like we never told it it's like, oh, and Santa's real. We would tell the story
Yeah.
as the idea of like it's just a story.
Yeah.
Like when I was a kid, we would watch movies. My dad would have to say all the time, "It's just a movie. It's not real." Because if there's like a scary part in it, and I'm convinced it's real,
Are you saying Jurassic Park's not real?
I hate to break it to you.
Darn it.
Dang it! But like
Dinosaurs are
because of that, when I heard a
No, are
story,
they?
most stories I would hear I wouldn't think are like, "Oh, this is totally real," which is like I wasn't great for Sunday school and stuff. And I heard those stories, I'm like, "Oh, there's stories,"
Quick question: aren't there dragons mentioned in the Bible? Or my
Dragons are dinosaurs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
You heard it here
And
first, folks.
are dinosaurs actually dinosaurs?
They're dragons.
Okay, buddy. So yeah, those little chickens down there are.
Well, no, like
No.
legit. Like, I don't think there may be one actual full skeleton of a dinosaur. There's a lot of them that aren't full, or they've like had to piece together, or they feel like this. They've never found one that was truly like fully 100% intact.
Here's the thing.
If I
This is
remember
totally
correctly.
unrelated to what we were talking about before, but I know too much about this. So
Fact check.
there are
Yeah, you can fact
like,
check.
There are
Not
monasteries.
the ABC
out
moderators because they are horrible.
It's like in South America, there are like monasteries out there where like monks have lived there for like thousands of years, right? And you can go there, and you know these monasteries. They know that these monasteries were established in like maybe like 50 AD or something. Like very early age, but in the atheist view, it's like still very recent relative to how long humans have existed in their
Yeah.
idea, and very far after dinosaurs have died in their idea too. But this place has been built before modern science has like dug up dinosaur bones and like they've like reconstructed skeletons and like made ideas of what they could be. But in these monasteries, they just have carvings and paintings of dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Like of a stegosaurus, of a triceratops, or an apatosaurus or something. Like they just have dinosaurs on the walls way longer before they should have known and way after they could have ever seen one.
That's pretty cool.
Which
It's
means
almost
that they
like-
can't just be physical beings. They have to have some other like a magical
They were
or
watching
spiritual
Jurassic
thing.
Park.
Yeah, or they were just in the theaters, yeah.
That,
They saw it in the theaters.
Some monks in like orange robes sit down in the Jurassic Park theater, like, oh dang, this is a
And that was like
Oh,
way before
It's fan
like,
art, actually.
anything. Yeah.
You know how on Noah's Ark they had certain animals picked out to go on to the boat, right? There wasn't any dinosaurs on there, and then the flood happened.
Well, it's because you've heard my theory about the angels are dragons.
Yeah, but if dragons are dinosaurs,
It's because they could be both spiritual beings and partially real beings at the same time. Like
right.
humans are physical beings, but they're also spiritual beings. They can be both. Like those things exist in creation.
Mm-hmm.
Like the sons of God, things that are imago Dei, carry both a spiritual and a physical part.
Yeah.
In the same way, like the angel wrestled with, or God wrestled with Jacob in the wilderness, there was like a physical being there. Like it wasn't just wholly spiritual.
So you're
Yeah.
saying dinosaurs is
I'm
just as
saying
good as humans?
Dinosaurs are dragons and dragons are angels.
but not all dinosaurs are angels. Like, I don't.
I think there's a lot of
all jacuzzis are hot tubs, but not all hot tubs are jacuzzis.
Yeah. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
like that. Or all. Hold on.
How many theories can you make? Well, not theories, but
I've studied these.
examples.
How many analogies am I going to make before you can
It's like
disprove my theory?
A 5.56 can shoot 2.23, but 2.23 can't shoot 5.56.
That's not how it works.
Uh,
That's not a valid analogy.
I know.
You know, 1 + 1 actually does or can equal 1.
And 2 + 2 does equal fish.
In what way? Binary,
Math
logical.
is racist.
Math is not racist.
Math
Math is the most unracist thing ever. But
Well, I mean, if 10%
'cause,
of the
like,
population, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna finish that quote.
commits 13%.
in logic, a 1 is a true, and 0 is false. Plus is an and statement. So a true statement and a true statement equals a true statement. So 1 + 1 equals 0. Or sorry, 1 + 1
Boom.
equals 1.
1 + 1 = 0.
No, 1 + 1 equals 1.
Dunked
True
on-
plus
we
true
dunked on
equals
math.
true.
I've been telling my math teacher that, but I haven't been
You can.
listening.
And you can be
Believe me.
like, that is true. And he'll be like, actually, you are 100% correct. I actually was in college at that time, and one of my teacher asked me, or asked the whole class, if you can tell me how 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2, I will give you an A in this class. And I won't have to, like, do this. And I went up to him like, yes,
Binary.
1 + 1 equals 1 due to logic and binary. And he's like,
Got him.
and
A
I got an A in
plus.
the class, and I didn't have to do anything. I mean, I worked still hard, but I got an
He's
A in the class
lying.
without even trying. It was cool.
Weekend benders. He didn't have to do class.
Well, that's true too, because I had fallen away from a lot of stuff. But
We kind of went on like a huge tangent there.
we went through a lot of different
We
tangents.
got there because of Santa Claus. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
But getting back to
Oh, toxic masculinity.
Getting
That was
back
Santa
to-
Claus.
getting back to wrapping
Lying to your kids about Santa Claus is toxic masculinity.
wrapping up the
Michael wants to go home.
toxic. No, I just want to teach him how to drive manual.
Bruh.
Oh, bro, who's learning?
Me.
You are?
He's trying to teach me.
Dude, you have to, man. If you ever need to, like, if you're ever going to go to Europe,
That's what I'm
you
saying,
have to
that's what
know
I
how to
wanna
drive a
know.
manual vehicle.
Well, I think we'll go do it after this.
Dude, you're going to have to. It's actually, it's a lot more fun to drive a manual. It really
so
is.
It
excited.
is.
Like-
I don't get bored driving.
Dude, when I was in,
even though
when I was,
it's like 100
Bro,
when I was
loves
driving
traffic.
food, when I was driving that food in Ukraine, we were going up and down these mountains. We were like inches from each other.
Yeah.
Traveling at over 100 miles an hour, going around curves, all stuff. It was
Crazy.
so much fun. It was great. Don't
Only
do that, by
partially
the way.
terrifying.
It was actually a lot of fun. Ask your
well,
grandpa.
that's what I was telling
He
about
did
that.
all that.
My grandpa's done some crazy things. We should get him on the podcast.
Oh my God.
That'd
There
be
you
a
go.
fire
That would
podcast.
be
That
fun.
should be cool. No, we should get all of our grandpas on podcasts. That
We'll just have them take our
'Cause-
place and just
'cause
let them
you're-
interview.
Yeah, you have them sit around, and then you can ask them questions
Like
from
interview
the
from the
audience.
outside.
type
That'd be
deal.
fire, actually.
Because my grandpa, he was like a pastor at the same church for like 35 years. And
That's
then
crazy.
This is my mom's dad. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. Because my other two grandpas there.
Grandpa's in God.
R.I.P. How do we tie this up with a nice little bow? Don't be toxic masculine. We didn't talk about it very much.
Like I said, you have the last question. It's going to be like 5 minutes.
Yeah, we have a hard time staying on the one topic.
But toxic masculinity and actual biblical masculinity is actually a very easy topic to discuss. Like,
Yeah.
toxic is all the stereotypes that you think what a man should be, and biblical is a pure and simple. This is what you need to do.
I think one
Yeah.
thing that toxic masculinity takes from biblical is it takes some of the things that are true, but it puts a twist on them. Like, for example, being in good health, right? That's something that that goes for everyone. That doesn't just go for males, right?
Yeah.
It is being in good health and not abusing your body, right? That's one thing that they take to an extent of saying, well, you should be the best physical version of yourself, which is a good thing, but it's not something that you need to enforce on others. If you want to do that, enforce that on yourself, that's awesome. But it's what they just take things from the Bible in general, and then they twist it in a way that it makes it something that you have to do, or you have to be this certain kind of way, and then it directs it more on men or women. It goes for both men and women.
Well,
I think that's
It's like what our pastor talked about today.
Yeah.
It's like I am great in all things through
right,
the passages that I decide to take out of the Bible and
Yeah.
spin it for my own purposes.
right.
Right.
And we're mainly talking about toxic masculinity and that, but that goes for both. Also goes for toxic femininity. It goes for both. I think that's important distinction to make, because in this world we tend to we like to divide ourselves a lot,
Mhm.
especially like even Christianity. We like to divide ourselves, which is not a great thing. It's just me. And I think, I don't know. I've kind of lost track on that, but you get my point, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not just toxic masculinity that is being exemplified in this world, but it's also toxic femininity.
I would say a lot of these things that we're talking about also go for women. If
Yeah.
anyone's watching who's a woman, like, there's still things to learn about, like knowing who men should be and how
Mhm.
you should be treated by men,
Yeah.
and what the standard you should hold for the men in your life is. But also, like, there's things to be learned about, like, just because it's two sides of the same coin, you know. Like,
Right.
we're men and women are created equal. Like, we're all just another child of God. You know, we're all image bearers of God.
We're like a coin. We're all created equal on each side.
Yeah.
It's the same, but
We belong on our own sides of the
Well,
coin.
well, that's why Eve was taken from a rib of Adam,
Mm.
because we are the same.
Yeah.
We are symbiotic, right? It's like without a female, we are not whole,
Right.
And we are all on the same plane.
Yeah.
Granted, we're supposed to be the head of the faith, but we are equal, and
Right.
we are partners in this life. So,
Yeah. I keep thinking about what Pastor just said before. I've heard him say it before, but like it really hit me today of know God, know who you are, and know the difference. Like,
Yeah.
If you have a question about like what does it mean to be a man, like go learn what God is, who God is, and like go learn what a man is supposed to be, and then understand the difference. Like, not a Venn diagram, just there's a clear line. There are things that we're like God about, but we're not the same as God.
Right.
In any way, really.
yeah.
I would suggest if you want to learn more about it, there's a great book called Wild at Heart by John Eldridge. Banger book. I'm only like halfway through. It's kind of like you kind of work through it and think about yourself in it. So I'm kind of working through it right now for myself. But it's a great book to kind of learn what he thinks about like the differences between men and like how to be a healthy biblical man. So
Yeah, and I've got a really good friend. His name's Jim Ramos. He's got lots of good books. Dialed In is a new one that he has. There's 5 characteristics of being a man, and then healthy, stronger, or something like that. I can't remember what that is. But they're all really good. He has a podcast, Men in the Arena, and then he also has some man camps that happen. So if you want to go to like a man camp or whatever it is, go to those. I think Acts 29 also has a man camp in the Pacific Northwest area, but so does Jim with the Men in the Arena. And those podcasts are great. It kind of helps teach you in little segments of what it's like to be a man and how it is to like lead and stuff like that. It's pretty cool.
any other resources you want to share, Austin?
I don't got much.
Watch the Gray's Twitch streams.
No,
That's how you really be a man.
No, don't.
Don't watch them. Bro.
He's just begging people not to give him money. That's crazy.
Did you work late last night?
I didn't work late, but I stayed up late.
Were you
I
streaming?
saw you were playing COD or something.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why. Bro.
Bruce cooked.
I think I just stopped staying up so late the night before the podcast.
That's all good, dude.
That's all right. You had some good stuff. I liked it.
Also, what I need to do
Talk
more
about
is
Santa Claus was interesting.
what I need to do is not study up, but kind of like know more about what I'm talking about. I definitely have stuff about this. It's just like I don't think I have a lot to say. Like I have stuff to say, but not a lot to say on this. So I don't know.
That's
Pretty
understandable.
short, you just have short answers. So.
Yeah, I'm also half retarded. What?
So how do you feel about that?
Same. Me too. movement.
I don't agree.
You guys-
So true.
That's crazy.
What'd you say?
I said hashtag me too.
Oh,
That's
I'm,
crazy.
I'm half.
bro, there's like a whole. Actually, I was reading up on some stuff too. It's kind of funny. They talked about the whole, like, that's part of the toxic masculinity piece is that whole Me Too movement thing, and it's like what it defines a masculine figure to be like and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And it's kind of funny. I'm not gonna get into that because we're towards the end of the podcast, so we don't need to like rehash it.
One more hour.
Get back into it. Well, thank you guys for watching. We appreciate you guys being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me here. This
Shout out
is
to our
great.
guest. It was really awesome to have a new
Definitely
voice
have
in
him-
the,
have
in the
him-
arena. You got this. Lock in.
Words are hard.
Shut up. I went to public school. Not my fault. We'll definitely probably have him on again, and hopefully some other guests.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got a few in mind.
Don't worry, I went to public school too.
Okay, well, you must have went to a better one than mine.
No, you went to public school when public school was actually good.
Oh yeah, that's
When it
right.
wasn't-
Before
Public school's
TikToker
just
was
too
around
crazy.
to brain rot everyone. My exaltation to you guys would be just keep learning about more who you are and who God is, and replace a bad habit with a good one. Like how I'm trying to replace my scrolling with more reading, because it's always better to keep learning more new things and find some educational outlets of things to learn. So better
Learn
than
about
TikTok
yourself.
or Instagram
Go change
or
your
YouTube
oil.
Shorts.
You probably need to change your oil soon.
Check your tire wear too. Maybe
Yeah.
rotation.
And
I know
your
a guy.
brakes.
I know a guy.
And
who
your
can help
Because
you.
your
Brakes
brakes are like back in the day they used to have this like wine that would tell you when your brakes
No,
are
they
like
don't.
close to being ready. Bro, no, that doesn't happen. So like now
go out.
it just gets to rotors right away and goes from like a $100 replacement to like 1,500 to
Well,
more.
Well, it's
Because then
just-
you gotta
So you
you gotta
ask.
do the rotors and all that stuff, man.
Well, so they can make more.
Oh, in parts, yeah.
So they can
for
make
sure,
more
but,
money.
Like
Laborers.
that labor, yeah. So
All about the money.
yeah, it's all about the Benjamins.
Who's that?
Public schooler.
I'm just joking. I know a Benjamin.
It's all about the Washingtons.
Who's that guy?
Who's that
You
guy?
Never
do
heard
something
of him.
good?
That's a state.
We
Is that a
live
state?
in Washington State.
Okay.
Is
All
that,
right.
is that
Who's,
Lewis and
did
Clark
George
or something?
Washington do something?
Looks like you have a
What'd he do?
crossroad that you need to have a conversation about.
Oh, all right. What's
I'm
your
just kidding.
what do you want to tell our audience for this week?
Go do something nice for someone this week.
Bars.
That's it.
Make dinner for your mom.
Mm.
Take out the trash. Be
Take
nice.
the trash.
Fold clothes.
Oh my gosh! Speaking of trash, last night. Okay, okay. This is not. This isn't. I don't think this is.
I'm cutting this out.
not even
100%.
a podcast.
No, it's totally
It's
gonna be a part of the
okay,
cut.
okay.
This is a
Oh,
huge
okay,
So
element.
I was getting off of work. Okay, and the primary is where they make sandwiches at Chick-fil-A. Okay.
Right.
Trash was like we just kept stacking stuff on there, right? Okay, it was super full. Like we just kept pushing it down, and I was like, oh, what can I do to help before I leave? And I'm not
you
gonna.
just want to check out the trash really quick.
And they're like, oh yeah,
Tell
can
that
you
where
just
to
take this
start.
trash out before you leave? I'm like, yeah. I could not get this thing out. I go ask some. I went. Can't come back. I'm like, ask someone. Hey, can you help me? Me and him both try it. Cannot do it. We have to tip it on its side and just like wiggle the thing out. It was so full.
So that happens at my house all the time. So what I do, I just take the trash can out to the big trash can, tip it upside down, and just shake it, and then it comes out.
Make sure you tie it off first.
But these bags. This is
It's like a
I don't
half
know.
mile walk to get something from primary.
Oh,
to the trash
seriously?
can.
It is? Oh,
yeah,
bro,
because you have
that
to go through
sucks.
like flipping breading and whatever. All
Okay,
those
so
things.
this will be a controversial.
Don't be
question.
lazy. Take out the trash.
Controversial
sooner.
question.
Controversial
But yeah.
question: Chick-fil-A, Popeyes, or Raising Cane's? And we're also talking not just chicken, but sauces.
I haven't
Never been to Raising Cane's.
What?
We were gonna go a couple weeks ago before the
Bro.
okay. We were gonna go a couple weeks ago
Line was so
before the
bad.
podcast.
And
I
then
got
it
there
was just
before them,
packed.
and I'm like, the parking lot is full. People are parking on the side of the road.
Like park down the street.
Okay, so what you got to do is use the app now, and just order it, and then just walk in, and then just
Oh
get
my
it from
gosh.
there.
That's a good idea.
Don't go through drive-through. Never
That's a
go
good
through drive-through
idea.
there. It's
were gonna go
always better just to
inside.
eat there. It's better to just eat there. It's actually a
good.
heck of a lot better. Now their chicken's just average.
That's what I've heard.
Their sauce
The sauce
and their
is-
toast, phenomenal. Now what I do is
I
I
keep
get
hearing
extra
people
sauce.
talk about the toast. I'm like,
I know.
Dude, no, the toast. It's Texas toast. It's great.
It's good.
Now,
I've
the sauce
had
though
the
is
toast.
fantastic. So get extra toast, get extra sauce, and then either go to Popeyes to get your chicken because honestly, that's a lot better.
I've heard you can get rid of the coleslaw and add an extra piece
Yeah,
of toast
you
or
can.
more sauce.
Yeah,
It's way
and so
better.
what we
'Cause
do
nobody
is
wants coleslaw.
we actually cut it. Their coleslaw is not too bad, but we cut it and the toast
Sandwich.
and we make a sandwich out of it, bro. It's really
We'll have to
good.
go.
Yeah.
That's Scott's message to our audience
Go
for
try
the week.
Kane's
Go
sandwich.
get
Go
go check out
Kane's,
this
have
new
the
Kane
sauce.
hack.
I
Kane's
think,
hack.
but if we're talking like overall, I think Chick-fil-A has.
Chick-fil-A's
I don't
better.
go to Popeyes enough.
Chick-fil-A has got good sauces. Now their chicken's about average. Like they got okay chicken,
I like
but
their chicken.
you go to
Try
Popeyes
the
with
spicy
some of your
chicken?
Chick-fil-A sauce.
Dude,
Nah, that's good.
That's like a sin,
Like,
I
can't
think.
do
No,
Popeyes
that's totally not a sin.
I keep Chick-fil-A sauce in my car.
Yeah,
in my glove box.
No
I
way.
do the
No
sweet-
way.
I do the sweet sriracha and then the honey barbecue.
How can you tell someone worked at Chick-fil-A?
I just
Keeps it in the car. They
I
keep Chick-fil-A.
just
You know
can't-
Walmart
I can't
sells
eat
the
Popeyes
sauce.
anymore because
Yeah, it's delicious.
one time our family had Popeyes and
Oh
then
my
we
gosh.
got food poisoning and
That's why you don't go to Popeyes because they friggin'
Okay,
bully
the spicy
you.
chicken
You
sandwich.
go there to go to
is
Popeyes and get some food.
Oh
They
yeah,
bully you at the cash
don't get the
register.
spicy chicken from Popeyes. That one sucks because all it is a nasty sauce they put on. Spicy chicken at Chick-fil-A is actually really
It's
good.
good.
I like the
Because-
spicy chicken sandwich at
No, no,
Popeyes.
no,
Really?
You know-
So you like the sauce that's on that, huh?
Yeah, like, it's like isn't it like a spicy mayonnaise or something?
Yeah, it's horrible.
I love it.
You know,
Classic.
It's good.
Can I just say this is
It's
such a
good.
man thing to do to just like start talking about food
I
for like 20 minutes
ribs.
out of nowhere.
I like ribs and
Like-
brisket.
but
I was talking to someone else like
See, I
they were
know
like-
a lot more about food than masculinity, apparently.
I was hanging out with my girlfriend. and I was just,
masculinity.
I was just sitting there like
right?
just like staring off into nowhere. She was like, "What are you thinking about?" I'm like, "I'm not gonna lie, I was thinking about food."
Right.
I was just sitting there just like thinking about food.
I was
like,
thinking
I
about-
hate seeing
I was thinking about Rome
I
and
hate seeing
food.
Roman food.
I hate seeing videos about
Roman
food. I'm like,
food.
dude, I want to drive there right now and try that.
the masculine urge to just think about food all the time is crazy.
Well, a lot of the time I'm just sitting there thinking, now which type of beef should I throw on my smoker? At what temperature and how long do I want to smoke it for? And do I
for
have
all the
enough
ladies
time?
out there, if you ever see a man and wonder what he's thinking about, it's like there's like
Get
a
a man
50%
that-
chance it's
Get a
food.
man that can
And the
smoke.
other 50% it's Rome.
Yeah, buy your
outro.
Oh,
All right,
I thought we already did that.
kind of did.
Kind of.
We got talking about food. So.
All right, so
Anyways,
go get a good meal, make a meal.
And Rome.
all right.
What is not that kind of Rome?
not that kind of Rome,
Yeah,
guys.
Not that Roman civilization.
Well,
Alright.
thanks for listening in.
Thank you for listening.
We hope you guys
To them,
have
not me.
a good rest of your day.
I didn't talk.
Good night, and good rest of your week.
Yes, thank you guys for watching. Give us suggestions for other guests we should have if you know us and know people we should bring.
Or just questions.
Yeah,
to talk about.
I would love to get like topics that our people want us to like talk about.
Actually, my
Like,
brother
make some
commented on
personal-
our first episode.
I saw about that.
Oh, you saw that?
We should probably address that eventually. Do like a
Right now.
fan Q&A episode at one point.
Go live and just like
Anyways, please do
Yeah.
leave your comments. We love to read them and like know who's been watching
Yes.
and enjoying it. So
And I hate to say it, but well, actually not really. But please like and subscribe. We really appreciate it.
we do appreciate it a lot. Not
That
gonna
button
lie.
down there.
Hit the buttons,
Hit
guys.
the
Oh, fun fact!
one
On
Like,
YouTube, if you
share.
say the word,
down there.
if you say the word, please subscribe. It makes the subscribe button on YouTube light up now.
Bro.
They like listen to your
subscribe,
podcast.
subscribe,
guys. Little subscribe.
All right.
Anyways, thank you guys. We appreciate
Thank you for
watching.
listening.
Thank
Have
you
a good one.
guys. Have a great one.
Thank you.
Love you guys. Bye. All right, now we're good.